Hi students, this chapter is about human health and diseases and this is part 1. So, as we all know that health is a wealth, without health nothing is in this life. So, surely we must think and care about it. So, let's see what's in it. First of all, what is disease? See, any deviation from the normal state that causes discomfort or disability or impairs the health may be called a disease. So, disease is a condition of disturbed or deranged functioning of the body caused by infection, defective diet, heredity, environment, or depraved condition of brain. And what is health? Both are different terms, health and disease. You should not relate health with disease. What is health? See, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. So, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being. If you are performing physically very well, mentally as well as and socially, then it means that you are free of any disease, that is, you are healthy. Next is, now what are disease agents? See, the disease agent is a factor which causes a disease by its excess or deficiency or absence. See, disease agent is an organismic substance, force or disturbance which causes disease due to its excessive presence, deficiency or absence. And disease agents can be different type like biological agents, nutrient agents, etc. So let's see. See, first one is biological agent. These include viruses, rickettsias, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, helminths and arthropods. The biological agents are called pathogens. So, pathogens are biological agents that produce disease. Next is nutrient agents. When disease is happening because of the food components such as carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, vitamins and water, then it is called disease due to deficiency of these nutrient agents. Next is chemical agents. Chemical agents are again differentiated into two types. First one is endogenous and second is exogenous. What is endogenous? These are formed in the body itself and these include hormones, enzymes, urea and uric acid. And exogenous, these enter the body from outside by inhalation, ingestion or inoculation. Pollutants like fumes, gases, dust, metals and allergens like spores, pollen. So these are the examples of exogenous chemical agents. Next is physical agents. These include heat, cold, humidity, pressure, radiation, electricity and sound. And next is mechanical agents. These comprise chronic friction or other mechanical forces which result in sometimes injury, sprain, dislocation or fracture. The last one is deficiency and excess of substances, for example hormones, enzymes. See, some diseases are caused by genetic disorders and lack or underdevelopment of organs. The agents for certain diseases such as peptic ulcers, coronary heart diseases and hypertension are not fully known, whether this is because of deficiency or excess of substances. So these are the disease agents that are responsible for the disease. Next is now types of disease. See, disease is also of two types, congenital disease and acquired disease. Congenital disease, see, these type of diseases contracted before birth due to defective heredity, that is chromosomal abnormalities and gene mutations, or due to physiological disturbance or transplacental transmission. And the diseases related with these type are hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, alkaptonuria, Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndromes, transplacental syphilis, cleft palate and hair lip. An acquired disease, diseases contracted after birth due to infection, defective diet, hypersensitivity, injury, addiction, degeneration, cancer, depression, etc. are acquired disease. Acquired diseases are broadly differentiated into communicable or non-communicable diseases. Now, causes of congenital diseases. As we said, that these are anatomical or physiological abnormalities present from birth. First of all, a single gene mutation, that means congenital diseases caused by a single gene mutation. So alkaptonuria, phenylketonuria, albinism, sickle cell anemia, hemophilia and color blindness are the example of single cell mutation. See, in alkaptonuria is a defective gene. Phenylketonuria, it is an autosomal recessive metabolic genetic disorder characterized by a mutation in the gene for the hepatic enzyme, which rendering it non-functional. Next is albinism. Albinism is a defect of melanin production that results in little or no color in the skin, hair and eyes. Sickle cell anemia, it is a disease passed down through female in which red blood cells form an abnormal crescent shape. Actually, red blood cells are normally disc shaped. So sickling of the cells decreases the cell's flexibility and results in the risk of various complications. So this occurs because of a mutation in the hemoglobin gene. Next is color blindness. It is the inability to distinguish the difference between certain colors, and this condition results from an absence of color sensitive pigment in the cone cells of retina. A person with color blindness has trouble seeing red, green, blue or mixtures of these colors. So the most common type is red green color blindness, where red green are the same color. So these are the example of single gene mutation, which is the primary cause of congenital disease. Next is chromosomal aberrations or chromosomal abnormalities, and the examples of chromosomal abnormalities are Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Turner syndrome. In Down syndrome, it is a chromosomal condition characterized by the presence of an extra copy of genetic material on the genes. Next is Turner syndrome. It is a genetic disorder that affects about 1 in every 2500 girls. Girls with Turner syndrome usually short in height. But the good news is that when Turner syndrome is diagnosed while a girl is still growing, she can be treated with growth hormones to help her grow taller. Next is Klinefelter syndrome. It is a condition in which human males have an extra X chromosomes while females have an X chromosomal makeup. See Klinefelter syndrome. It is a condition in which human males have an extra X chromosome. See, while females have an XX chromosomal makeup and males an XY, but affected individuals have at least 2 X chromosomes and at least 1 Y chromosomes. Because of the extra chromosome, individuals with the condition are usually referred to as XXY males or 47XXY males. In humans, it is the most common sex chromosome disorder in males and the second most common condition caused by the presence of extra chromosomes. Principal effects of this disease include hypogonadism, that is decreased functional activity of gonads, and reduced fertility. Next is environmental factors. And the examples of environmental factors are cleft palate and hair lip. See, cleft palate are variations of a type of clefting congenital deformity caused by abnormal facial development during gestation. A cleft is an opening or a gap. It is a non-fusion of the body's natural structures that form before birth. And an older term is hair lip, based on the similarity to the cleft in the lip of a hair. So, these are the causes of congenital diseases. Now, types of acquired diseases. Acquired diseases are broadly differentiated into communicable diseases or infectious diseases and non-communicable or non-infectious diseases. See, let's see what is communicable and non-communicable. See, communicable diseases or infectious diseases is said to be communicable if it spreads from one person to the other. These diseases are caused by viruses, rickettsia, bacteria, fungi, protozoans and worms. See, if the disease is spreading from one person to another, if a pathogen is able to infect from an infectious person to a healthy person, then the disease is called communicable disease. This is due to pathogen that can be transferred from one individual to another, like viral, bacterial, protozoans, helminth, fungal, etc. Now, Robert Koch listed the following four conditions to establish that a specific pathogen causes a particular disease. This is called Robert Koch's fourth germ theory. And these four conditions are called Koch's postulates. See what he said? First one is suspected pathogen should be invariably present in the animals suffering from the disease and should not be found in healthy individuals. See, he said that pathogenic organism occurs in abundance in patients suffering from diseases. Next is pathogens isolated from the diseased animal should be grown in a pure culture. That is, pathogens can be separated and cultured in a laboratory. Next is when this culture is inoculated into a healthy host, the host should develop the disease. That is, healthy persons injected with cultured pathogen contracts disease. And fourth is pathogen should be recoverable from the experimental host and it should be the same as the original one. Means pathogenic organism is recoverable from the newly diseased individual. However, viruses cannot be grown in pure artificial cultures. So these three postulates are known as Robert Koch's postulates.